Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talk with TQ. Tonight I have a recurring guest. Her name is Ambika Devi, and she's an astrologer, and she talks about a lot of interesting things to do with manifestation, astrology, and the like. I'll just say it like that. Tonight we're going to talk about the energy of gratitude, as this show is being recorded during the month of November, which in our country here in the United States is a month for Thanksgiving. And we also love to give thanks, I guess, all year long. And I wanted to talk to her about the energy of gratitude and how it relates to manifestation. Big topic, but if anybody can tackle it, it's my friend Ambika. So please, Ambika, indulge me.
I think the thing I repeat the most about this exact topic, about gratitude and manifestation and how they relate, is likened to what we hear from the law of attraction, which is in order to pull in or attract or manifest something, we have to be grateful for what we already have. And I hear myself say this on a weekly basis to somebody, because I'm talking to clients all the time, mostly answering questions about relationships, but the manifestation key there is manifesting something within their existing relationship or manifesting a relationship. It blows my mind, because I've been responding to questions for 46 years, and this is still at the top of the list.
Why do you think that is?
People's confusion with their own thoughts and the way they entangle in the mind, because we all have that sub-vocalization that goes through the mind, and then it loops. And science and many, I'm going to say, energy explorers, people that observe things, everybody from people like Deepak Chopra or Joe Dispenza to Tony Robbins, all looking at ways to maybe help people and motivate them, inspire them, get them feeling creative again. It all comes down to our relationship with the mind. Now, science is talking about neural pathways, but yogis, we have been talking about this forever. You know, this is exactly what the teachings of yoga are about mind, because yoga is for the mind and it is the sister science. So aside from astrology, I also am a yogi teaching meditation and speaking about it, because this is what everybody wants to know, Toni. It's in corporate situations, it's in family situations, it's in sibling situations, it's in friendships, and it's in primary love type relationships.
Primary love type relationships, what would that actually be? Like mother, daughter, mother, son?
Oh, no, I'm talking about, I'm partnerships, you know, like living together, married.
Okay.
I mean, it could be your mom and you. Some people, that is their primary relationship. Some it's with their dad. I've seen profound relationships between children and their fathers. And I've seen not so good ones too, between people with their parents. But I'm talking mostly, I'd say the demographic that I talk to is between 20 years old and into the 60s, easily into the range of my age. Occasionally a septuagenarian, somebody in their 70s. But usually, I mean, I am kind of baffled by how many people in their 40s and 50s are still confused about relationships and that I talk to.
They say that affairs of the heart are the most important things that occur in our existence. The affairs of the heart, meaning it could be with a child, with a lover, with a husband, with a wife, whatever, you know. And it seems, in my experience, just being on the planet, it seems that people are pretty much somewhat obsessed with that relationship that they have or don't have or that they want. and they want to make it happen. So I'm wondering if that has a lot to do with the popularity of the subject of manifestation. You know, if you go on the internet, you can find a lot of articles on manifestation by a lot of people.
Oh, yes. The things people want to manifest is more stuff or more money, more things, something in the physical world, or more love in the emotional world. Some people want to manifest more intelligence, you know, they get into things like speed reading and just studying. I'm in the group of schoolaholics, definitely.
Schoolaholics. Yeah, you're a knowledge junkie. That's being a knowledge junkie.
Okay, well, that's why, knowledge
Yeah.
junkie, schoolaholic, this,
Yeah. I think
same
that's a good
thing.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, we are attracted to different things. We sometimes repeat different things, even when we know we don't want to repeat them. They come up, and it's just easier to be able to handle it when we can calm the mind, especially the mind waves of information that's running through, and then we're able to witness it, to look at it, and then we can make a more calm and clear-headed choice.
It seems that the noise, because I know when I look at your website and just reading about you, you've talked about different techniques. You don't talk about the techniques. What you say is you make a statement about removing the clutter and the noise, the extraneous noise that comes through.
Mhm.
And I think that anybody that's alive has experienced that. And it's not an easy thing to do. Now, I want to ask you in terms of like manifestation, gratitude, and all of that stuff. Do you find that what can you is it safe to assume that if you could quiet your mind, you could be a better manifester, a deliberate manifester? If you could quiet the noise, the chatter, makes me
Well, how
crazy.
about this? If you could quiet the chatter, do you think you would be a better manifester?
Well, it's I'll say it's not about me because
Okay.
I know the crazy that happens in
Well, I'm
here.
asking everybody
Okay.
who's listening and watching, but
Yes.
I can, I believe that when we have a better relationship with the mind, then we can get into what some people call the flow state. That's where it is believed that great ideas come in and we make choices that are actually, are we really making the choice, or what some people would call spirit is making the choice,
Yeah.
or some people might say, at a soul level or an energetic level. It doesn't matter to me what you're defining where the good choices come from. I
Yeah.
mean, even
Yeah.
science has come up with clear information about the physical heart and particular tissue in it, making choices that outweigh what the brain functions do. So good choices are made with the heart, not the gut, not the brain. And so we have to be in a peaceful place in order to tune in here. This is a quieter place. This is a noisier place up here, right? And manifesting, if we're looking at just manifesting, and remember what I said before is that we have to be grateful for what we've already manifested, what we've already got.
Yeah.
And when we're little babies, we don't have any doubt about we're going to get exactly what we want. We're born into this world knowing exactly how to manifest. We develop some patterns and signals to give people, but they do tend to come through for most babies. I know not every baby has that, but I think most of us can relate to that image or idea. And what I see happens as soon as we get into that young adulthood is the shame and doubt from early childhood is dragged forward about doubting that you can get what you think you're wanting to manifest. That is the biggest hangup. I actually discussed this with a client earlier. Fortunately, she got it, because when they struggle against the idea of the blockage is here, it's not out there, You know, when you take ownership, this is exactly what Gandhi was talking about when he said, be the change you want to see in the world. That means everything in you, thought, and this is of the mind, right? This is mind stuff. Thought is an architect. Many great scholars and saints have told us this, that thought creates. And then there are some rules to manifestation. You have to be really clear on what you want. Once you're clear on the gratitude for what you have, and then you have to want it a lot, like really, really, really want it. Then you have to imagine that you've already got it. You have to believe it. You have to feel it in all the layers of you, in all your physical senses, in all your energy fields. However you want to look at it, it doesn't matter. Or you could use intellect to tune into it.
When you
And
were
then, but there's one more. Then you have to let it go.
oh, you have to release it.
You have to stop, let it go. Because you already went through, I believe I already have it. You have to stop.
That's where people get hung up on it. And I think that concept of that is challenging for a lot of people to embrace, because I guess we're all at a different stage in our spiritual, and psychic development. So a lot of people think that this stuff is all hooey, what do they say? Woo woo.
That's, I think both of those terms are used. And, but just recently, I was in a situation where I was at a networking group where 15 years ago, I wouldn't have even brought up these topics. And then as a result of what's been happening in the world, people have changed. A banker came up to me and said, I was giving away astrological gift certificates. And he said, 3 years ago, I would have not even paid attention or listened beyond the word astrology. Now I want to know more from you. I want to learn. The last 3 years have changed me. So, maybe that's what it means, that people are awakening. We can only hope.
I find that after the past, I've always kind of been this way, but I feel like I'm just another resident of the planet. I try not to flatter myself too much about that, especially when I'm out in nature. But it seems that I don't think I'm the only one. I believe that other people are this way. You see things that sort of give you like a signal or a clue that there's something beyond you. I saw 3 seagulls, and I didn't even notice them. I'm standing next to these 3 seagulls on a railing overlooking a body of water, and they're sitting there. And all of a sudden I look over and they're just right there. I'm like, what? I'm looking at something else and they're right there. And I sort of saw it as a sign. Even if it's not a sign, it gave me a reason to think about something. Why are they there now? Why are they so still? Why are they letting me just walk around them and take pictures and they're not even flying away? They're just sitting there. I think that what's happened, perhaps, this is my own little like layperson theory, is that we've all been through so much in the past 3 years that everything we see after being in various stages of lockdown is an amazement. I think that's opened our minds. And I think the reason that people will come to people like you is because they want more verification of that, the things that they're feeling and seeing, that these things are actually real to them. Like, what does your clientele say? What do they ask you when they come in? Like, what kind of problems, what kind of concerns?
99% of the time, it's about manifesting a mate.
Wow, 99% of the time.
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. If the idea of manifesting or bringing something new in, yes, it's about why can't I, or why hasn't this happened yet? And so look at the mind hangups right there. Look at the neural pathways just being carved by those questions.
Yeah.
Because you do have relationships with everybody. You have relationships with people that you're standing in line next to, even if you didn't talk to them, even if you didn't make eye contact with them, you're still in a relationship. We are relating to everyone and everything at every moment. But those are more profound because you're actually seeing another being, right? And then when you have conversations or you begin to form a friendship or a love relationship, these are all different levels of relationship. So sometimes the manifestation with regards to relationship questions are about existing relationships, because relationships go through waves themselves. They go through speed bumps and sometimes they hit walls. So then they might be asking, can we go back? Which the answer is always no. You can't go back. You can't go. You were talking about a body of water. If you put your foot in the water on that day when you saw the 3 seagulls, and then you went back there on another day and thought, I'll put my foot in the water and I'll even manifest 3 seagulls. What is the likelihood of that? You can't go back. You can only go forward, and you can only be here now. Being stuck in the past is just grinding those neural pathways, like dragging a heavy cart filled with stuff down a muddy, muddy path, and it's raining. You're just grinding deeper into it.
Yeah, interesting. They flew away when a pigeon came along. It's interesting. I see, and I wonder if other people are like this. I don't know who you see, and I'm reluctant to talk so much about myself about this, but I see metaphors in a lot of things in nature. I see that the birds at the Riverfront Green in Peekskill, New York, exist in peaceful coexistence. You see ducks, mallard ducks, you see geese, you see these other kind of weird things. I don't know what the hell they are, cranes, egrets. And sometimes they hang out all together. Right? Just like hanging around and doing their thing in the water.
Birds are fascinating.
I know.
I really liked that movie that Nicolas Cage was in when he was an angel, and the angels would perch and watch the sunrise and sunset like birds do. And it brought a whole new meaning about the way birds stage and watch the sunrise and the sunset. And here, living in the subtropics where I am, the snakes are fascinating to me because they definitely respond to the moonlight, certain moon phases. There's a whole technique of divination through signs in nature. And this has been used for millennium, because as long as humans have been around, because this is how information was deduced on what's going on here, and then seeing patterns. The Old Farmer's Almanac has lots of really great information about this. Just being able to predict weather. There's certain types of wood that will do things when the weather changes. It's barometric, So birds and patterns, certainly, if a hurricane's coming, how I decide whether I'm putting the shutters on my house or not is if I see a migration. If the animals are hanging out like any other day, even though the news is going, I know that it's not coming like that. Because when a really big one is, my bougainvillea tree bends over. I'm not kidding. It pulls away from the wall and it bends over like it's crouching down to take the wind. And I have seen snakes in migration, and definitely birds and everything else kind of heading west. So then a big one's coming.
Oh, yeah. Where I live, when you see the seagulls come to the parking lot of the shopping center, and they fly up from the water, and all of a sudden they like sort of land and they light down on the parking lot on the ground, even though the cars are gone, because people know there's a storm coming. But when they come and they sit there, I know it's going to be a big storm. And when you see a bunch of them in the parking lots. Interesting, which is way away from nature.
Well, that's them telling you, this is a more calm place. But there's so many other ways that people read nature. There's so many other forms. I challenge everybody to watch the patterns and start to notice what's happening. And you've got to understand it's your own relationship to nature. So this is the same thing with dream journals. You should develop your own encyclopedia of information like yours, Toni. What does it mean when I see 3 seagulls? And just kind of notice what happened that day. And then you can start in, when you see 3 seagulls again, you check in to see if it was something similar. This is how it forms. Sure, some are more scientific, like predicting the weather, but there have been many ideas. I mean, think about flower divination of, he loves me not, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many different ways that maybe some have been treated like childhood games, but these are all relating to nature. There's plants that have sensitivities and do things. There's animals that it could be believed if you see certain animal that it's like a totem. And so it's really what does it mean to you?
So when you see these things, it's most advantageous if you take it personally, as opposed to wondering what it means in the collective.
Well, think about black cats crossing your path.
I don't believe in that.
Right? Well, there you go. You don't believe in it. Somebody else might.
That's true.
So
Most people
then
do.
it goes back to what I said earlier. It's the thought that's creating it. One of the yogic teachings I've heard over and over and over and over from many different teachers over the decades is you're walking across a room and it's dark, but it's not pitch dark. And you see an object on the floor and you startle because you think it's a snake. And you turn the light on and it's a rope.
Yeah, your mind processed it differently.
Right, but you had all the adrenaline rush and everything of that is a creature that I am wary of, right? You might have jumped up, your adrenaline shoots through your body. Well, guess what? Every thought you have plays out the same way chemically in your body. So if you think about doing abdominal exercises, you can gain the same responses getting on the floor and doing them if you do it right.
Well, I like that idea, Ambika. We got to talk about that.
If you want to manifest, this is all part of being connected with the mind. The mind is very powerful. Thought is very powerful. It has form, it has color, it has electricity. It is the manifester. So when you learn how to relate to the mind and to relate to what thought is and how to cancel out negative thought and how to replace it with positive thought, that's how we do it.
So this is something that you actually teach and you work with your clientele with. I was going to ask you a question. I was thinking about it before the show. I said, I'm thinking, should I ask it? I'm going to ask it. I'm going to ask this question. When you work with your clientele, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, I'm just curious. Is there a mechanism for manifestation? Is there a mechanism, or is it all of the above that we just discussed?
Everybody has they come with different items in their backpack.
Okay.
So it's the same thing with sleep. I have a course that I'm getting ready to release that helps people get sleep. Insomnia is running rampant. There's so many people that have trouble sleeping. They maybe can sleep a little bit, but if they wake up, they can't go back to sleep. Maybe they just feel like they can't get to sleep. So I created a course, and that'll be on my site soon.
Which website again?
Oh, it's my name, ambikadevi.com, AmbikaDevi.com.
ambikadevi.com.
Yes, I'm getting ready to launch some free classes and also the sleep class. Yeah, so you can learn some astrology. You can learn about divination with tarot cards, which is a great process for just how many people want to do some sort of morning pages, some morning journaling, but they feel like I don't know what to write about. Well, guess what? Tarot cards are really fun to just pull a single card and see what it makes you feel or think, or you could look up what its meaning is in whatever type of card deck, or you could use an oracle card, and that could inspire you for something to write, because it is good to do that. That's part of kind of dumping the hard drive, the cache, you know, of the brain and the mind.
So aside from astrology, then you just indicated that you are somewhat knowledgeable. You're knowledgeable to some extent about tarot, which is very popular these days.
It depends what circles you're in. I've been using tarot since I was a little kid. I wrote about how my first deck came to me in my first book.
Oh.
Because the lead character in that book is based on me.
Oh. Okay. Which book is this? Tell me.
It's called Lilith.
Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's
As
a
in
novel.
Black Moon Lilith?
As in Black Moon Lilith, yes.
Yes. That's very fascinating. You're just like really kind of like the quintessential spiritual being. You know, you're actually living your spiritual life. It's obvious, you know, it's obvious, so spontaneous and so open.
Thank you. Thank you.
I imagine a lot of the manifestation energy comes from opening one's heart, opening one's sacral, you know, that gut, I open my gut, you know, some people say I open their heart. I'm trying to get better at opening the heart.
I think the best place for everybody to focus is on your root chakra, because that's where we connect to all that is. And that's, you know, everybody's so concerned about heart or third eye or second chakra because they want to mate. You know what? How about root, everyone? How about getting centered and grounded first, and then seeing how that supports better thought and more manifestation and more happiness and better health?
I like the idea. The root deals with you, numero uno, and there's nothing wrong with that. And
the uno, the one. I mean, it's our connection to all. It's the web that has no weaver.
The web that has no weaver. I like that. We're going to have to continue this conversation, my friend. You always get my mind going. You're really good at that. My mind is like just churning with curiosity. Yes. But thank you again, Ambika, for coming on the show and also being spontaneous with me as I ask these off the wall questions that are in my mind that I anticipate other people are wondering as well. So we'll have you back. You know, thank you for talking about gratitude and its relationship to manifestation. That's a big one, you know, and I think it's very important. And I think it's something that can help the collective to understand, because we all are in this together. I'm not talking about that slogan, but you know, no one's getting out of here alive. So you might as well make the best of it. That's why I look at it, you know? And so we're alive now. So make the best of it. And I would encourage my audience to look up Ambika on her website, ambikadevi.com. And, you know, look her up and talk to her about these things. She can help you, you know, at whatever level you are in this whole process that we call life. So thank you again, Ambika. This was a good one. We'll talk again. We'll continue.
It was fun. I never know where we're going.
That's right. That's the way I like it. Yes. That's the way I do. Anyway, but thank you so much for indulging me in that, because I think that you really offer a lot of yourself, a lot of your mind, and a lot of your heart. And I really appreciate that. And I know that my audience does too. So until next time, I have to say goodnight to the audience. And I will be back once again with the most interesting people I can find on the planet. Bye-bye.